What's up, everybody? I have not seen this trailer yet. Thank you for joining me in my previous. If you joined me on my previous stream, thank you for joining me on this stream. Everybody's seen it, I'm sure by now, but I'm like one of the last ones to check it out because I needed sleep, and then I had an errand to run. Off camera, I've got Manny here, and he's gonna watch it with me because he hasn't seen it yet. So we were actually tied away from social media and from everything going on because we were busy. But now we're back. We're about to watch the Shenmue stream live, and if you were with me this morning, we waited over an hour just to get a slideshow and then be told when it was going to be live. So it's like time to watch it. And without further delay, because man, I missed a lot of sleep for this. Let's watch the Shenmue 3 gameplay trailer. And I know all you guys watched it, but let me watch it. Here we go. Here we go. Ah, it's a Japanese voice.
無様なもんだな。その程度のクンフーで俺様に勝てるとでも思ったのか？
Oh, snap, wow.
変身さんを助けないと。
りょう、まだダメ。まだ無理。どうするか考えよう。
どうすれば。
何の量かな。
少し前にゴロツキがこの村を荒らしていったと聞いたのですが。
おお、今日はどこだと怒鳴りながら家探しをしてこの通りだよ。
この人たちは一体誰なんだ。シェファー、これは。
知らないおじさん2人がこの家に入っていくのを見たんだ。
村の子供たちがジョさんの家にゴロツキが入っていくのを見たらしい。
岩尾？
岩尾は俺の親父です。親父のことを知っているんですか？親父は殺されたんです。
お前さんたちには関わりのない昔のことじゃと言ったはずじゃ。
くそ、一体どうすれば。技を教えてください。
そう簡単に教えるわけにはいかんな。
何でもします。教えてください。
そうじゃ、その調子じゃ。お主には俊敏さが足らん。素早く接近して撃つのじゃ。遅い。基礎力もついたようじゃ。そろそろ技を伝授してやるかのう。よいか。
一体どうすれば。技を教えてください。
そう簡単に教えるわけにはいかんな。
何でもします。教えてください。
そうじゃ、その調子じゃ。
When it came out, the original one, it was supposed to be like realistic, like artwork, right? Like art style, like the graphics were supposed to be realistic. But now when you go back and play it, you can tell it hasn't aged all that well.
Am I muted? You guys can't hear me? You don't hear anything?
Your mic is off, I think.
No, I see bars here. No sound? Somebody... Can you hear me? Hear you now? Oh, okay. Strange. It's still coming in. 1 second. 1 second. I'm gonna switch the mics. Oh wait, now you hear me? Oh, I was about to switch my microphone. Can you hear me? You hear me fine? Somebody say yes again, just in case. Out of sync. Ugh. Okay, delay. Okay, I'm gonna switch my microphone and see, or I'm gonna hit stop and start and see if it actually syncs up again. It might be with my stream, so don't go anywhere. I'm just literally gonna hit stop and then start my stream. Hang on. Stop streaming. Start streaming. I'm back. I don't know if that. Okay, I'm back. Let me know if this worked to resync me. If it did or didn't. That's the audio issue. Okay, I'm back. Good. We're level again. Sorry about that. It was kind of weird. The software provided a delay, but I want to go over this video, and I want to kind of go over particular snippets of what I thought. Now, I have a lot to say, a lot to digest, but that was definitely my first reaction. So I'm going to play it again, but I'm going to stop it in specific portions to give you my honest opinion. Hang on a sec, guys. Here we go. I'll have the pause button right. There's the new logo. Love the music. So right here, upon seeing how he looks and how the mouths look and everything, it's kind of a more anime style. It's like a little bit less trying to be realistic and more trying to be like an anime. That's how I found it. But the lips, pay attention to the lips as they move, because I was watching that.
無様なもんだな。その程度のクンフーで俺様に勝てるとでも思ったのか?
So, I mean, I stopped it right there, but this looks like it might be a bad dream. So, if you've been watching the way that their lips move, that looks like it still needs a bit of work, in my opinion. What do you think, Manny?
At first, when I saw it, like, I was a little put off, but I don't mind it so much, really. To me, it kind of it matches like the style of artwork that the game is going with. So I don't expect it to be like perfect, the lip syncing, especially when you have multiple languages that you have to animate. So
yeah,
I'm perfectly fine with it. You know, it could be worse, essentially.
Yeah. So the other thing too that I made like note of is that at the bottom left of the trailer it says work in progress, game not final. So I'm sure that especially when it comes to lip syncing, that takes a lot of animation work. So they're probably still working on it, and it might actually improve by that. So
少し前にゴロツキがこの村を荒らしていったと聞いたのですが
So a lot of thugs that came through town and caused a lot of damage recently. That to me tells me that Landi is definitely, or his group is in town, causing trouble, causing chaos, and that's actually pretty interesting because I think that Rio will feel like he's on the right path. But the thing that threw me off too from here was that this character's face, the one with the tank top, his face looks a lot more cartoony than I expected. Then again, I can't say that the face is any better than Shenmue 2.
You know what the actual art style of this game reminds me of? If you ever played the Fable games, it's not as cartoony as that is, but it almost kind of feels like that type of style. Like it's more of a stylistic approach to it. and I actually enjoy it. I like it a lot. I like it. I'd much rather have this than have something that's ultra realistic. That in like 10 years from now we'll look back, we're like, oh, that doesn't look all that good anymore because we got better stuff now.
Right, like the games like Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future are games that have that stylized artistic feel to it, to where you could actually play it 10 years, 20 years down the line as we have, and you could still say, hey, this doesn't look bad at all, because the graphics have done a better job aging. And Shenmue has a reputation of the Shenmue 1 and 2, actually, they don't look too bad for the time that they were released. So, I mean, they could have looked better, as we've seen in Shenmue upgrades, but they still don't look bad. One thing I wanted to take hold of and actually mention was the fact that this trailer had the Japanese voice actors. When I played Shenmue, the first Shenmue, I played it with the English. I played the American version, but I imported the European version, of Shenmue 2, which only had the Japanese voices. And hearing Ryo Hazuki's voice in Japanese with the original voice actor was giving me emotions with the trailer. What do you think, Manny?
I don't know about you, but when I play Shenmue, I played in Japanese. I mean, when I used to play it, it was in the English voice, but now that I actually have the option to play Japanese version of it, I actually play it that way instead.
But what did you think of his voiceover? Ryo's voiceover.
Actually, I didn't have a single problem with any of the voice acting. As you know from from Shenmue 1 and 2, the English voiceovers, like some of the voices are kind of like hit or miss when it comes to like especially NPCs. But in this, I didn't have a single issue. And it looks like everything, at least, I don't know if this is all cutscene or if this is all in-game cinematics, but at least with all these NPCs that he's talking to and he's interacting with, all their voices sound perfectly fine. It sounds like they're hitting the right audio beats.
Yeah.
When they need to be animated and more energetic, their voice actually has like complexion where it actually goes up and actually goes down when they have to be more serious. So I think they're doing a great job with the audio.
Tyler Thunder mentions right now, also people that are worried have to remember that the game is a work in progress. It will get better. I'm sure this game will be amazing. Yes, it will. It definitely will. And it's improved so much since we saw the first few trailers a couple of years ago to where it is now, to where it's going to be in August. I mean, they don't have much time left, but it looks much more polished than the original first few trailers. So I saw two strangers come into the house in this scene. Pretty interesting.
村の子供たちが
So there were
ジョさんの家にゴロつきが入っていくのを見たらしい。
岩尾
岩尾は俺の親父です。親父のことを知っているんですか？親父は殺されたんです。
お前さんたちに
I wonder who that person was and how he knows Iwao. Now, if you're familiar with the story of Shenmue, then you know that Ryo's father, Iwao, got both the mirrors from this section in China, and he brought them with him. And this was actually near this place where Iwao, Ryo's father, killed Lan Di's father, and then took both mirrors and brought them back to Japan with him. So perhaps that person who he was talking to might actually enlighten Ryo as to what actually happened between Lan Di's father and Iwao Hazuki. So that's pretty interesting. What do you think?
I noticed they got the capsule toys right there. I love how no matter where you are in the world, you'll find those same capsule toys there. I find it hilarious.
Yeah, on the bottom left of the screen, you can see the capsule toys.
I wonder if they're going to have the little Sonic figurine and everything. Or maybe even like a forklift in there too.
They've got to have a forklift. You can't do this without a forklift.
I love the scenery though. Look at the clouds and the background and everything. We have a blur, like there's a motion blur in the background and everything. The grass looks actually really nice. The trees look nice too. If you remember from Shenmue 1 and 2, if you go back now and play those games, the trees kind of look flat at certain angles. But now the trees, with the technology now, it actually looks really nice. I love it. I love everything the way I'm looking at
With
it.
the Unreal 3 engine, they
And
definitely
Unreal 3, yeah.
they're definitely taking advantage of the graphics. And if you notice, while this scene is playing right here, there's a person sitting down in the background, and not many other people. I mean, this place is pretty desolate, one would imagine, but from what we've heard, there's going to be over 500 NPCs in this world. And again, fingers crossed that they're all voiced when not in a cutscene.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I wonder what your subscribers over here would think if outside of cutscenes, when they talk to NPCs, if it was just text, if it wasn't audio, like if all the NPCs didn't have voices and all it was just text boxes that popped up.
Yeah, would that kind of disappoint you guys if it was just NPCs with text? Like the Yakuza series had that, so would that bother you? For me at this point, because I want to know the story and I want to know what happens, I don't care. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Subski 117, I'd hate if some NPCs were text. We would too, but I just want to get to the conclusion of the story. I want to see what happens and see everything worked out. So, let's see, what else can we pull out from the trailer? You know what? I like the fact that they have butterflies flying in the background. It really pulls you in. It really pulls you in. The fact that they worked on every intricate detail. The fact that they have that in this game. To me, it shows. And butterflies are significant, not only because, okay, you're adding graphical butterflies to the world. Who cares, right? But it is synonymous with your walk with Shenmue and Shenmue 2. And those butterflies that you saw. And the fact that it's present in the story and makes its comeback here is pretty good.
You mean fireflies?
These are not fireflies. They're butterflies.
技を教えてください。
そう簡単に教えるわけにはいかんな。
See,
何でも
like,
します。教
all
えてく
right,
ださ
I'm
い。
gonna rewind it a little bit.
何でもします。教えてくだ
Look
さい。
at the way he's
そう簡
holding.
単に教えるわけにはいかんな。
At first, I was thrown off. I'm like, he's not really holding it.
It has a thing on it.
But yeah, it had like a strap tied to him. So that to me kind of threw me off too. Like I thought, what's going on? It looked kind of odd. But taking a second look at it, it's actually pretty natural. And this guy
何でもし
looks
ま
pretty
す。
cool.
教えてください
And。this is classic Leo wanting to be trained.
そうじゃ、その調子じゃ。
I know. Pay attention to these fight scenes. Alright, let me go back there for a second. Oops. I minimize the screen. There I go.
何でも。
その調子じゃ。その調子じゃ。
Alright, so the way these fights are taking place from this lower angle actually has me intrigued, because it's kind of like Shenmue, and especially in Shenmue 2, as you're fighting, the camera would kind of pan around you.
Yeah. What I'm
Right?
thinking is the camera itself you can control with the right thumbstick itself. So it's however it is you want it to be. So you're just constantly controlling it.
You think
I don't
that's going to be
I don't-
dynamic camera?
Unless you're probably in a fight with like a group of people, and then maybe every once in a while the camera will just kind of swing around a bit.
Right.
But other than that, it'll just be like you just control the camera yourself. That's what it looks like. And I think that the person who was recording this footage right here
Yeah.
just had the camera pan down a little because maybe probably part of the background wasn't finished enough. They didn't want to show that off.
Well, to me, this is a classic angle of Shenmue, kind of like a lower angle, and then it's just kind of rotating around you. Now let's watch it. See how it's rotating around the character?
お主には俊敏さ
That
が
is
足ら
very
ん。
familiar from Shenmue. See, happening again, rotating. Now, what we
素早
just
く
missed
接
right
近して
there, boom.
That
This
looks
has
like-
to be a training minigame.
Yeah, that actually looks more like the QTE, kind of like the fight machine in the arcade,
Right.
with like with the 3 button prompts that you have to press.
Yeah, but to me, my theory is that this is probably more of a rhythm-based action. Like, for example, when you have to hit the button at a certain time, like we did when in the tree in Shenmue 2 when you wanted to knock down the leaves. And good observation. If you look at the lower right corner of this screen, there's like a question mark next to where I would assume the triangle button would be.
I'm guessing that's just for help information, like if you had like for tutorial kind of like things where you hit that and then press this button to do that, press this button to do that, or whatever for that mini game.
Yeah. And yeah, the face here, Daniel Collins is saying bad facial here. Again, I'm not paying attention too much or judging too much with the facial animations. That's something that's been worked out for a long time, and I believe that the facial animators are specifically, there's a team specifically working on the facial animations for everything when it comes to these and any other of the animations that have to do with speaking as well as action like this, because no one's gonna punch what he just punched and just stay stoic in his face.
素早く接近して撃つのじゃ遅い基礎力もついたようじゃ
Now, my curiosity is, what does he
そろそろ
have to
技を
do,
伝授してやるかの
if anything, with the story? He's just a trainer.
I'm pretty sure that he knew Iwao. That there's something like about the people that are in that area that Iwao has been around there and they know him. There was a line of dialogue when he was mentioning his father, and the old man was reacting to it.
Yeah. And there it is. I mean, initially I want to offer a deep dive breakdown into the trailer and to really give it a story perspective of what's actually going on with the dialogue, because I couldn't focus too much on the dialogue and the relevance of that to the story. And I will do a deeper dive, study what each thing could be, and then release a further video in probably a week or two. Give it a full review of the gameplay. But that, from a rating of 1 to 5, 5 being best, 1 being worst, I'm going to give it to Manny. What do you think of the trailer? And then what do you think of the graphics presented in the trailer? And then third, each one deserves a rating. What do you think of the fighting presented, the actual gameplay presented?
I wonder if it's still going to feel like the combat system, if it's still going to feel sort of like Virtua Fighter, or if throughout all these years they've actually figured out a better system for Shenmue.
From what I hear, so they've expanded it. So from the Virtua, it's not the Virtua Fighter.
Probably feel more like a more modern version of a Virtua Fighter.
Not too. It's not. It's still gonna feel like Shenmue. It's definitely still gonna feel like Shenmue, but it's not gonna be a Virtua Fighter. It's kind of a smoother, transitional type of fighting. Especially
after all these years of brawler kind of games like Batman Origins, Arkham Origins, or whatever.
It won't be like that.
And Spider-Man, like how their combat feels. But I'm not saying it's going to feel like that, but they might have adapted few little things that they've learned from seeing those games. And like, you know what, we can add that into Shenmue's combat style and improve it, you know?
Yeah, we'll see. So, all right, first rating, the trailer overall. 5,
trailer overall,
4?
I think I'm going to give it like a 4.5.
4.5. Okay, why is it a 4.5?
Ultimately, I came into it with really low expectations, and it actually was well beyond that. I didn't think they were going to show so much story, as all it was to me was just going to be mostly just kind of like gameplay mechanics and maybe even some of the combat as well. But they showed more than that. They actually showed some story. They showed like the facial animations. They had audio and everything in there. Most of the audio, the music that I heard sounds like audio that's been used in Shenmue 1 and 2. So I didn't really hear anything new. I thought at the beginning I heard an alternate version of the theme song from Shenmue 1. But I think it's just all they did was just layer a piece of audio on top of that. That's why it sounded different. But other than that, like I liked it. It was good.
I will give the trailer myself. I agree with your 4.5, based on most of the same reasons. What brings it down a notch is that to me, lip animation matters, and that could have been a bit more polished. Everything else was great. Just the lip animation was enough to pull me out a bit a little bit. So Angel rated it a 5, Alex the Tampa 4.2, Ederlanderdale, I apologize for butchering your name, 3.5, but graphics 4.5, Scott Adams a 4, and Retro Godfather a 4. Now we're going to go into the actual graphics themselves. What do you think of the graphics? 5 best, 1 worst. What's your score?
4.7.
4.7. That's
Yeah,
pretty specific. What's with the 4.7?
Because, like I said before, the art style itself is, I think, something that's going to eventually hold up in the long run. You can come back 20 years from now. You know what? I want to play Shenmue 3. Pop it into whatever system you got. Or even if they decide to port it over, now that we're in a transitional phase where they're going to be coming out new PlayStations and new Xboxes or whatever.
Right.
This game's going to come out on PlayStation 4. They're eventually going to port it over to whatever PlayStations after that. And maybe Xbox somewhere down the line. It's obviously going to be on PC. So years from now, when whatever system we're on, if they port it over, it'll still hold up. Whereas if it had ultra realistic graphics now, 20 years from now, you're going to look at those graphics like, man, that looks like crap. I remember playing that one like so many years ago, but now it doesn't look like all that well compared to Call of Duty like 23 or whatever that they have now.
So you got Scott Adams with 4, Retro Godfather Trader overall 4, but Sobski's, Angel's giving it a 4.9 for graphics. Alex the Tampa, I was expecting a final product, but it's getting close. Graphics are unique, but the character design is so different from character to character. Some characters look more cartoonish than others. I also agree with that. That's a good statement. Personally, I think the graphics are a 4 out of 5. And the reason I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 is because paying attention to the lighting of their faces, there was a lack of, or at least not so dynamic. It was out in the sun mostly, so that made sense. But I wish there was a little bit more lighting, shadow effects, or some night scenes that actually pulled you into that real dynamic range that you can get out of the scenes, especially with that engine. Which I'm sure I'm not knocking the graphics of the game. I'm just saying, in the trailer, they didn't really push the graphics.
Well, I think the reason why they did because I think every scene was in the daytime, right?
There were some at night, but most of it was
because in the previous trailers that we got last year and the year before that, most of those were all at night. They've already showcased what things look like at night, and they also had another shot of sunset. So you've already seen what that looks like.
Right.
You haven't really seen in broad daylight, like in the middle of the day when sun is shining down on this character. So this trailer actually shows you now how things look during the daytime.
And again, I'm giving my assessment on the trailer. Yeah. So, and then the final rating that I want to give is for the actual fighting that you were able to see. What is your opinion? 1 out of 5.
It's really hard to tell from just this video alone. The fighting itself kind of looks similar to what we had in Shenmue 2.
Right.
But it's difficult. You have to actually feel it when you're playing it. And you couldn't really see any button prompts when they had it up. They didn't have that UI up on the screen during the fighting, so you couldn't really tell how the fighting mechanics look like. But just visually, it looks okay. Like, just so long as the camera you can move the camera with the right thumbstick, or whatever. If you're on mouse and keyboard, you can move it around with the mouse or whatever. It looks fine to me. Honestly, so if I had to give it a score, I'd give it like 4.2.
4.2, another specific score from Manny. Yeah. My personal take on the actual gameplay is that's a 5 for me. The actual gameplay and the fighting, I think it's that perfect mix, at least from what I saw, the perfect mix of classic Shenmue and then modern fighting. From what I can see, it was very smooth. It looked very good, and we all know that when it comes to gameplay, that matters almost more than anything else. Shenmue is very story driven, so story matters, but gameplay will bring you in. So that's why gameplay gets a 5. Definitely gets a 5. I do agree with Sobski117 that we haven't really seen enough gameplay. It was very limited. It had some mini games, like 1 or 2 mini games, and then it had very limited practice fighting, and then that's it. But I don't exactly disagree with the fact that they're keeping it very limited. Especially if they're not completely finished, but also I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's going to happen. I want to be surprised by the fights. I want to be surprised by whatever's going on. I want to be surprised by every new thing that we see. So the fact that it's being kept very close-knit, I'm hoping that's due to the fact of Yu Suzuki's team wanting to keep the story private, and not so much due to the limitations and the unfinished status of Shenmue 3. So...
Oh, someone mentioned Nozomi. As for Nozomi, I don't think she's going to be in this game at all. They've already mentioned before that there was, for people who certain, like, I think there was a certain tier in the Kickstarter campaign that you'd be able to make phone calls to Nozomi and other people.
Right.
But I don't think any of them are going to show up in this game. It'll just be a phone call feature where you go into a phone booth and just talk to them and get dialogue. I think, at least that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Another person said there's going to be more detail in a future live stream or something like that. They were asking you if you know when that would be.
I don't know of any future information, but I'm always looking that stuff up, so I'll definitely look into it in live stream if we definitely get it. But before we go, because I think we've digested it, let's take one more look at the trailer. Gameplay trailer of Shenmue 3. Let's all soak it in.
け、無様なもんだな。その程度のクンフーで俺様に勝てるとでも思ったのか？
変身さんを助けないと。
りょう、まだダメ。まだ無理。どうするか考えよう。
どうすれば。
何の量かな。
少し前にゴロツキがこの村を荒らしていったと聞いたのですが。
おお、今日はどこだと怒鳴りながら家探しをして、この通りだよ。
この人たちは一体誰なんだ。シェファー、これは。
知らないおじさん2人がこの家に入っていくのを見たんだ。
村の子供たちがジョさんの家にゴロツキが入っていくのを見たらしい。
岩尾
は俺の親父です。親父のことを知っているんですか。親父は殺されたんです。
お前さんたちには関わりのない昔のことじゃと言ったはずじゃ。
くそ、一体どうすれば。技を教えてください。
そう簡単に教えるわけにはいかんな。
何でもします。教えてください。
そうじゃ、その調子じゃ。お主には俊敏さが足らん。素早く接近して撃つのじゃ。遅い。基礎力もついたようじゃ。そろそろ技を伝授してやるかのう。よいか。
And it just ends. It does kind of abruptly end.
Yeah, well, that's enough. So, from what I can take is that all of that took place probably right at the very beginning of the game, or probably in a certain part of the game, but it all takes place within the same area, so...
Yeah. So, in any case, that was amazing. Thank you guys for joining me. And if you joined me earlier this morning, get some rest. I definitely needed it. This was fun. I'd like to thank Manny for joining me on this. Even though you can't see him, he's the off-screen guy.
Hello.
I'd like to thank him for joining me. I'd like to thank all you guys, Subsky117, Tyler Thunder, Angel, the Retro Godfather, Eder Landale, Handy SOS, everybody hit that like and subscribe if you watch this. Please subscribe to me if you want to see more of my content. That means the world to me. A lot of you guys hit that subscribe button earlier when I did my first live stream. My subscriber list went up, which was, you guys don't understand how much I appreciate that. But as always, like, share, and you can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. I'll see you later with more Shenmue stuff. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.